We all long for happiness. It's the thing we most dream for.
Hail to the altruistic revolution. Let's go for it.
Now the first exercise is just going to get us ready for the big finale.
We all have a potential for kindness and compassion. But sometimes we are like a pauper with a piece of gold buried under its hut. He's rich, but doesn't know that he's rich. So we need to bring it at the surface. So there are interventions, like bringing a baby in the classroom of young offenders, and you should see them taking a baby in their arm, and their demeanor completely change. Or you give a pet animal to people in jail, and we notice that the violence decreases a lot when they start to take care of something, of someone. And they go less to the, it's not changing. God, I got a few minutes for each, it seems. So I can tell you a story. Oh no, it's coming now. 20 seconds goes fast. So now, at the same time, as I mentioned this morning, we should make a difference between empathy and compassion. Empathy tells you how others feel. If you are joyful, if you see someone joyful, you start smiling. You don't even know why they are happy, but you feel. If someone's sad, you feel sad. And if someone's suffering, you really suffer because of others' suffering. But you need to embed that in a much vaster sphere, that of loving kindness, of human warmth, of love. It has to be like every atom of suffering is not filled with an atom of love, not with an atom of distress. The quality of human relationship. There was a survey in the 32 or so countries of the OCDE about 10 factors that contribute most to well-being. Ooh, that goes fast. Number 1 was quality of human relationship. Number 5 was salary. Now, this is also happened. This is Jane Goodall releasing a chimpanzee that mother was killed by poachers and the baby was raised. And before they release it, it hugs Jane and then went in the forest. No, but what we do? Chicken, there has been a recent study showing that they are quite intelligent. 2 years later, they can recognize another chicken. But what we do is like this. In France, 50 million chicken a year, the male young chicken, don't live even 1 day. They are grinded into meat. So here is a half selfie. I tried to take off the monk with Photoshop, but it didn't look good. So Gurmeet Singh is a guy for the last 20 years. In the daytime, he sells cloth in a shop in Patna. At night, he takes his scooters, buy a lot of food, and bringing to the hospital to the patients who have no one to take care of. And he feeds them by hand every single night for the last 20 years. He got a prize somewhere in London. He didn't want to go because he said he will miss a few days. So let's go back to nature. There's something called biophilia. You show a picture like that to everyone in the world, including Eskimo, who have never seen that. And you show many pictures, and they will systematically choose a place with water, with abundance, and with a forest. So we have this connection with nature. So now I said this morning that until 10,000 years ago, it was quite bumpy. The climate was changing all the time, and humanity came down to a bottleneck of only 40,000 people. We barely didn't make it today. Also, we are all cousins in a way. So the Holocene, this period now of very stable climate, is our Eden. And by all means, we must protect it. It could continue like that for 50,000 years of prosperity if we are not that stupid to wreck the planet for future generations. So let's extend our altruism to others. Other generation. People speak of fossil fuels and so forth. If we were just simply burning everything we have in terms of fossil fuel that we know we have today, the ocean, the sea level will rise 58 meters. So this is a lost cause. But as we continue to doing little by little, we can come to tipping point. This is an example of a tipping point, some irreversible change. So I have nothing against those people. Don't mistake me, the head of the Reserve Bank and so forth. They don't look terribly happy, but they do have the Buddha nature deep within. The problem is their main concern is whether they should raise or not the interest rate. That doesn't bring a lot of happiness, but what brings happiness is money doesn't bring happiness unless given to others. That's the secret. It was studied now in 32 countries, and it was found out that people who give a little bit, at least, from big philanthropies to someone who gives $10 a month, they are significantly happier than others. Likewise, to engage in volunteer work, to do something for others regularly, it increased the quality of life and even the lifespan. Why? Because the warm glow, the incredible happiness to serve others, the sense of meaning, of being useful, and connection, that's what gives a meaningful life, and that you live longer, apparently. So as many said, we are super cooperators, but the only thing that will redeem mankind is cooperation. It's enough with this reckless competition. And cooperation has been much more creative throughout evolution to go to increased level of complexity. Now, when we look at big city like that, we say, how can I change the world? There's so many beings everywhere. It's just impossible. I can't do anything. But it starts with ourselves. It starts within our hearts. If we are determined to change, and gradually we bring change in our family, in our immediate community, and that's, as I mentioned, faster than genes. We can tip over the culture to a more cooperative civilization, to a more altruistic. We should start with cooperative learning in the schools. We should have cooperative approach in the cooperation and so forth. So we heard something about simplification today. So I'm a photographer myself, but I travel a little bit more light. So no, Henry Thoreau said, simplify, simplify, simplify. So the Buddhist commentary on that is simplify your thoughts, simplify your words, and simplify your deeds. What, that was too fast. Okay, thanks. At least not give me 3 seconds. So now, if you want to simplify your life, that's where you should go. No supermarket, no movies. Only thing you can do is meditate. Change your mind. And landscape is not changing, but I promise that the mind will change. So basically, simplicity can be inspired by great masters like that. So a guru is not the guy that manipulates you, including your bank account. It's someone who shows you what at the end of the path is the living example of what you could do. So there's nothing to gain, nothing to lose of having a few more students or disciples, everything to share. One time I was going in retreat for quite a long time, and I met His Holiness, and I said, could you give me one advice? He said, in the beginning, meditate on compassion. In the middle, meditate on compassion. In the end, meditate on compassion. So, you see, that's really the way. And when he said, my religion is good heart, to have good heart at all times, as much as we can, this is the best way to have a meaningful life. So thank you so much.